Hi! Today is all about the Philodendron Micans, the it plant. Seriously, this plant deserves all of your attention. I wanted to have a complete guide or a complete care video really talking about how it looks, what it's like, what to expect when you bring it home, and just to kind of just brag on it with you. So the Philodendron Micans is so easy care and everyone's looking for it. It's considered still a rare philodendron, but hey, let me tell you now, I saw it at Home Depot. So run over there, maybe you can get one at a discount. But the Philodendron Micans is a vining philodendron, beautiful plant. Philodendrons really have very similar caring needs, and even if they're vining or not a vining philodendron, they tend to also have similar attributes for you to start thinking when you see this plant, like, oh, that's a philodendron or that's not a philodendron. Their overall characteristics are that they're fast growing. That's number one. Philodendrons are so fast growing. They're low light tolerant, they're drought tolerant, and they don't ask anything of you. So why this Philodendron Micans is just so stunning to me and probably to everybody that sees it is even when it's in a 4-inch pot, a 6-inch pot, 8-inch pot, it is just booming. It is bushy, it is beautiful. I tend to lean towards plants that actually have a lot of leaves. Some philodendrons don't have as many. Like I have the Philodendron Birkin right behind us right there. And I just don't like it because if one leaf goes bad and you have to clip it off, I feel like plants look bald really quick. But with vining plants or with bushy philodendrons like this, they just have so much to give, so much to offer, and they look so unique. Philodendrons are very fast growing, like I said right away. Very important to note. This one is no exception. I love it that it's just so full, but it doesn't feel dense and heavy like some Hoyas might feel when they get really big. This is just light and airy. And the leaves are a beautiful velvety, I'd say this is almost like a bluish green hue. Looks like it belongs kind of under the sea with a copper undertone. And the copper undertone is not by accident or odd, because when you look at when it's growing in or when it has new growth, they start off that color. So look at that. They glisten. Oh, and they feel so good. They're beautiful. And they're heart-shaped, so they're very romantic looking. Like, look at this. Who needs a wedding bouquet or any sort of bouquets? You can just walk around with a philodendron. It looks beautiful. And they are just so fast growing and don't even need much fertilizer. But when you bring one home, the first thing you want to think about is, how does it look when I got it? How does it look today? What do I want it to look like? So what type of environment am I going to put it into for it to be what I want it to be? You don't need to buy a large philodendron up front, any philodendron. They're so fast growing, regardless of your light situation, that if you buy a 6 or 8-inch pot, a 6-inch pot is what this one is. I will actually take it out of its nursery pot just to show you, or out of its cover pot. I think that's a 6-inch. Maybe that's an 8-inch actually. But they really should stay in their nursery pot. So you can switch up the pot from time to time, and you also get a better look at the soil. But when you bring it home and you, let's say, have a low light situation, but you know exactly where you want to put a vining plant like this philodendron, just know it's not going to grow as fast, but you will be surprised. Philodendrons grow so quickly that, here we are, that you're going to have to clip it sooner than later. I do have a philodendron right there in the back. What's that one called? I think that's just called the heartleaf philodendron, something along those lines. I'll write it down. But I have not had that one for a long time, and it is growing like crazy. Look at this. Oh boy. I'm gonna need to clip that baby, but I have a bright light situation and I do water thoroughly. So you're going to want to make sure you quarantine your plant when you bring it home, water it thoroughly, and really know the situation you're putting it into and what you're expecting from it. And when you are going back to water it, of course, inspect the leaves, see what new growth it's been giving you. Like this is actually in the back for me. So I put this so it faces this way on my mantle. So I don't get to see this part as often. So it starts looking a little bit more wild. And it's like growing into itself in some ways. Let's see. Oh, there you go. See, I can actually just even unravel it a little and it will start looking nice. But the new growth is coming in bright green there, then it gets coppery, and there's just so much to show inside. It needs fast draining soil or very kind of lighter soil, but honestly, if you're going to buy it from any reputable nursery or greenhouse or online or even a big box store, hopefully they've already done the work for you and you can keep it in the soil that it came in. But with all new growth, when you start seeing that it has new growth, feel free to fertilize. There are different schools of thoughts on fertilization, like, hey, fertilize once, twice a year. I say fertilize quite a bit more often. Make it a good habit for yourself, maybe every other time that you're watering your plants, to have a little bit of fertilizer in there. I'm talking more than maybe just a quarter of the expected amount of fertilizer to put into your water if you're doing a liquid fertilizer. And when it comes to springtime, summertime, and when they're starting to have a lot of new growth, you can always use more of a hardier fertilizer like worm castings or something like that. But they just grow so quick that you want to reward them for all that growth. It takes energy to grow, and they've been living in this soil for a long time. So they don't have much to replenish with. So having a little bit of fertilizer added to the mix is so helpful. And you're giving them the love that they deserve. But because this is a vining plant, not all philodendrons are vining, of course. So I do have that Philodendron Birkin in the back. They all still look similar to me, even when they're not vining. The leaves might be very, very different, but they have this really interesting way of growing new leaves. So of course, this looks beautiful on its own with the blue and the green hues and the velvety look. Oh, it's just so stunning, just beautiful. But when their leaves are growing, what I like about this philodendron over different philodendrons, because I'm not a philodendron girl. I'm not. I think they get really animalistic. They grow so quick that they start losing the original shape that I was attracted to. But vining plants in general tend to stay looking vining versus the philodendrons that are not vining. But they all still have the same attribute that I realize I'm not as attracted to, except this philodendron does it right. I like that you can just see the leaves as they are, even though it's all very bushy and beautiful. The attribute that most philodendrons have, I've noticed, is this. So you see when it is starting to grow, it kind of leaves like an outer crust or like its shell that it was growing in. See, like that. It's like these extra little leaves that are crusty and not cute, in my humble opinion. But this philodendron does it well over other philodendrons. And when I put it, I'm actually going to put it up on this shelf so you can see how it looks when it's vining. Oops. Bam! Look at that beautiful thing. Awesome. But there are other philodendrons too that I'm not as fond of, like this Philodendron Birkin. Very popular plant, has the same carrying needs, meaning it is fast growing, low light, drought tolerant, does great in bright and direct light as well. But it just looks like an animal. So tell me what you think about the Birkin, because I remember when it was super rare and cost so much money to buy one from the store. I was on maybe the low end of the hill when it was already starting to go back down, but honestly you get them way cheaper now, because I think people agree with me that they look so weird as they grow. I actually cut this one for this video just to give it a little, get it freshened up. But how does this not look like an animal? I mean, it looks like it's ready to mate, like with this big pink leaf coming out. This is all new growth, and it does look beautiful with the striped leaves. And as they mature, they do green out. But it kind of likes to hang out of their pots because they can live on other dead logs and actively growing trees. but it just kind of all grows from the same thing. This is also philodendron, but look at the attributes I'm talking about where they have like this extra, like just to show where they came from. Don't get me wrong, I love this plant because it's mine, but would I like be attracted to it at a store nowadays? No. The Philodendron Micans is really the philodendron of my choice. This is the Philodendron heartleaf. It's beautiful, I love it as well, just like the Micans. It's very, very luscious and very fast growing. This is a very commonly found plant. It's so easy to care for. Look at these just cute heart shapes. But this one starts showing me that this little, I don't know, I gotta find what this is called. But I don't like them, and I don't really have the energy and the desire to pull them all off of the plant. But look, it's just so fast growing. Oh my goodness. I need to cut this baby down. But philodendrons are awesome plants in terms of if you're looking for a fast growing, low light, drought tolerant plant, you got a life, you're busy, philodendrons are the way to go. And this is a very common one as well. I think I have one more I can show you, the Philodendron Brasil. I love that one. Philodendron Brasil. It reminds me of the Micans a lot too, but like I said, they all very, very bushy, very, very light and airy as well. So they're not heavy plants, but they all have the little crusts that shows that they have new growth coming in. But this is beautiful. I mean, this is probably my second favorite philodendron. I keep it in my bathroom typically, but it's relatively fast. I mean, they're all just so fast growing. So if you're going to be in a space where you don't have a lot of time, you don't maybe see it as often, but maybe it's bright indirect light or even low light situation, philodendrons are the way to go. That was my quick little video on the Philodendron Micans and some of its brothers and sisters. Awesome plant, so worth it, super beautiful. Let me know what questions you have or if I missed something. But yeah, go get one. I love it, and they're so easy. They're as easy as they say. All right, thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, share, blah, blah, blah. Thank you, bye.